Prayer.
Mighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society, good of all human lives upon it, and the just government of its people, we beseech you to look with an abundant favor upon us, your servants, whom you have entrusted with the performance of such important trust in this community. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled. Grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our attention in the revelation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this region and of those whose interests you have committed to us.
Item number 1 on the order paper, communication from the chair.
Good afternoon, honorable members. So we apologize for the short delay. We were performing a certain function following the letter that I'm about to read to you, which came from the Ministry of East African Community and Regional Development, State Department for East African Community, Office of the Principal Secretary, Republic of Kenya. And the letter is about the duties of the Chair Council during the Eala third meeting of the 5th session of the 4th Assembly from 13th February to 2nd March 2022. This is to inform you that the Cabinet Secretary and the Chief Administrative Secretary for the Ministry of East African Community and Regional Development have since resigned from their positions in accordance with the law to seek political office. The government of Kenya would like to request that the Minister of East African Community Affairs, Burundi, Honorable Ezekiel Nibigira, currently rapporteur, to execute the responsibilities of the Chair Council during the third Eala meeting, pending substantive appointment or designation of the CS and CAS to execute the duties of the Assembly. It is signed by Dr. Kevit Desai, Principal Secretary. So, although already Honorable Minister Nibigira was standing in yesterday, but what we have done now is a formal handover. So if it happens that for some reason he is also not present, whoever will be here will be representing him now until we get another communication from the Republic of Kenya. So we wish you well, Honorable Minister, as you execute this important responsibility. And I hope the council member from Rwanda can hear us. Yes. We are together, Professor? Thank you. Now we can proceed.
Item number 2 on the order papers.
Chairperson, Council of Ministers. The CTC, you need to help the council chair.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay on table the financial statement for the supplementary budget for the financial year 2021-2022.
Item number 3 on the order paper, bills, first reading, starting with Roman 1.
Chair, Council of Ministers.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I move a motion that the East African Community Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022 be read for the first time. I beg to move.
The East African Community Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2022.
The bill is referred to the Committee on General Purpose. Together with this, the financial statement is also referred to the Committee on General Purpose.
Still under item number 3, Roman 2.
Chairperson, Council of Ministers.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I move a motion that the East African Community Customs Management Amendment Bill 2022 be read for the first time. I beg to move.
The East African Community Customs Management Amendment Bill 2022.
The bill is referred to the Committee of Trade and Investments, CTI.
Still under item number 3, Roman 3.
Honorable Françoise Uwumukiza.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the East African Community Cultural Heritage Bill 2022 be read for the first time. I beg to move.
The East African Community Cultural Heritage Bill 2022.
The bill is referred to the Committee on General Purpose.
Item number 4 on the order paper, report of the Committee on Accounts on the EAC audited financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2019. By way of motion, resumption of business interrupted on Tuesday, 15th February 2022.
Honorable members, when we interrupted the business yesterday, the debate had been going on. Now, I may have an indication if we still have members willing to debate this report. And if there is none, then I can move to invite the council. Is there any member who wants to debate it? Well, thank you. Council? Okay, Honorable Pamela. Honorable Mnya, you debated this yesterday. Yes. So Honorable Pamela and the Honorable Leontine and the Honorable, oh, so you are many. Why were you reluctant initially? Okay, Honorable Pamela, Honorable Leontine, Honorable Dr. Woda, Honorable Sophie, Honorable Pierre Claver.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I would like also to join my colleagues to congratulate our colleague, Republic of Burundi, for the milestone they've made through getting the, get rid of the sanctions they had. And also I want to congratulate our council for the step they made towards invitation and allowing the DRC joining the EAC. Mr. Speaker, I'll make 2 points under this very huge and nice report from the committee. Allow me to congratulate the chairperson of the committee for the very good job he did, specifically the reading and also leading the team, the committee to work and present this report to this house. Mr. Speaker, I would like to go direct to the one of the points which were mentioned by the chairperson of this committee, and the point where they mentioned that there is an irregular employment and for the short-term contract staff. Mr. Speaker, I know this is among the things which is eating this community, because we are having the understaffing issues, and we have been here since we joined Eala 4. We have been debating in each and every report here that we are having this problem. And among the problems which is eating the community is the understaffing issue. Mr. Speaker, having no enough staff who are supporting our activities, especially Eala, is a problem. We have seen the Eala organ underperforming its duties, or sometimes failing to do our mandate properly because of shortage of staff. And as well, we have this staff who are working without knowing that where are they going or what is their fate. Mr. Speaker, I would like to add the recommendation to the committee, to this report, that this assembly agree that the council direct the EAC secretariat to guide the HR department to establish the manual guideline, which will specify and maybe which will put more specific clause which will talk about the short-term staff. And maybe they can establish the time frame of the short-term staff, so that when it elapses the time, automatically they become the employees of the community. Otherwise, we'll have this problem and we'll keep having this. And I'm sure the way we see here from the report, there is a proposal that we commend the council to fast track the issue of the institutional review. But we have been hearing the stories about the institutional review exercise, and we are not sure when it's going to be done. So it's easy for us to propose to have these guidelines, so that at least when we have the reviews, the respective organ, for example, the sectoral council who are responsible for tracking these reviews, they'll be guided by these guidelines. Another thing, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to talk about, there is a point where it is mentioning about there were some directives from the council that the upgrade of some staff of this community was supposed to be done by the FNA. But from these directives, all the other positions which were directed that they should be upgraded, they were done. But from Eala side, we can see the clerk position was not upgraded. This means that this Eala organ, in one way or another, had missed its opportunity to conduct its executive mandate. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg this House to support this point that it's time now for the council to tell us why only this Eala organ missed the representation at the executive level as it was directed by the council. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Leontine.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice on this debate. And first of all, I would like to declare that I'm a member of this committee, and I do congratulate our chair, Honorable Kenneth Ishoka, for the work well done. Mr. Speaker, my comments will be of a general observation. What I want to say about this report is that if you took this year report and the report which was read in, let's say in 2015, the content is almost the same. The changes are very few. This is because the recommendations which are made are not taken care of. Therefore, I would like to call upon the the council, to really take seriously these reports, because if you read the recommendation and you think that these recommendations are implemented, they can make a lot of changes in our community and for the benefit of our citizens, East African citizens. I henceforth call for the chair council to tell us which strategy are they going to use, not only for us to come and present, read the recommendation and just take them and go, not doing anything about it. I would like to hear from the chair council, what are they planning to make a change? It shouldn't be a business as usual. We always come here, we read the recommendation. The recommendation most of the time are the same: lack of funding, short understaffing, late remittances from partner states. They're almost the same. So I would like to hear from the minister, what are they planning to do to change this situation? And at the same time, I'd like to congratulate the minister, Ambassador Ezekiel from Burundi. He's always here with us. Yesterday, he was seated alone there. But now I congratulate at the same time the minister from Rwanda. He's there online with us. And honestly, even yesterday, I'm sorry I didn't see. Our council members, where are they? As if we are talking to ourselves. And we are recommending to them, they are not even there to listen what we are talking about. It's a teamwork, I know, but they need to be there to listen to what we are talking about. Even the secretariat, by the way, the Secretary General works here. He has his office upstairs. He can't even come to be with us in this chamber. Right, Honorable Speaker, they need to take Eala matters seriously. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leontine. That's a very important point. But for the SG, I think yesterday I presented his apology. He's attending a partnership meeting between the African Union and the European Union, where regional blocs are invited. But today he said he was going to find the time and attend virtually. But if it doesn't happen, at least we know why he's not here.
But Mr. Speaker, he has deputies.
Deputies are not members of Eala. They can't be here. Deputies cannot sit here. Anyway, I think the point is all Eala members, including the ex-official members, really should take their responsibilities seriously. Honorable Dr. Wada, I have a list, Honorable Aden, so I'll come back to you at the end of the list.
Okay. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And on the onset, I want to declare that I'm a member of this committee, and I would like to congratulate all the members of the Account Committee under the leadership of our Chair, Honorable Kennedy Colonzo. Right Honorable Speaker, you have seen that I was a little bit reluctant to stand and speak because, as most of the members said, that these are recurrent observation, a recurrent recommendation, which we have been recommended over and over. Before even me joining this committee, I spoke about the same thing I'm going to speak today. So I'm just urging the Council of Ministers to take our recommendation seriously, and maybe it will come to a time where we stop all the work and just follow all the recommendation which has been recommended so that they be implemented. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to concentrate only on page 78 to 80, which speak about the ICT department. And this is a very important department when the world is going digital, especially in these Corona times. We have witnessed that Eala spent 1 year working virtually. And we have seen that this important department really has helped us a lot. But if we see in the report, and I quote, the department lack a strategy, they lack a framework, there is absence of business continuity plan, there is a lack of IT risk management framework, which is very important. You know, if there is no risk management, all of us has been working on different places before even joining Eala, and even in our houses, we have risk management. If this thing went wrong, we have to do it this way. But this very important department has no any risk management. To make it worse, there is an inefficient disaster recovery plan. And there is an incident, right, Honorable Speaker, which is even quoted in the report that in May, I think in May, I don't know which year exactly, but there was a loss of the data, and it took this very important department 8 months to recover it. It means that we are not safe at all, because if the data is not safe, all the ESC is not safe. So I just want to add my voice to the committee. I recommend that this very important department has really to be awarded the attention and the support it deserves. And it's just here. We happen to visit this department as members of the committee of the account, and I thought that it's a very huge department with very sophisticated thing, but I found that they lack a lot of things, though we have a very committed staff who are working day and night to make this work easy for us. So, Honorable Speaker, with these very few remarks, I beg to support the report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oda. Honorable Sophia.
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, to give me this chance to express myself on this special report. First of all, allow me thank honorable members who have congratulated my country, Burundi, for being now free from the sanctions. We really thank God. Right Honorable Speaker, my concern is on page 197, point 2, concerning legal instruments not ratified by some or all partner states. I felt sensitive on this point because I found it as the main barrier of the attainment of the objectives of the community as specified by the treaty. Right Honorable Speaker, I can say that we still have a long journey to have all partner states having signed or having, ratified or the legal instruments pending protocols assigned to them, because some legal instruments, I may understand that they may be so political and they need to have enough time, even funds, because sometimes they may need to sensitize people to whom that protocol or that legal instrument will be applied, on whom that legal instrument will be applied. So this can be somehow understood, but what I cannot understand, Right Honorable Speaker, is how a legal instrument which has been agreed among these partner states may take years and years to be ratified. And I'm afraid some partner states may not even inform to whom it may concern. I don't know whether it is the EAC Secretariat, the reason why, or the reason why they are delaying the ratification, whether they are facing some challenges, whether they need an additional time. This should be normally reported in order to know the reason why this is taking a long time. And I consider this like a kind of disappointment on side of the people that we represent. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, we as leaders, we don't have any other way of saving our people. We don't have money to give them or for just satisfying their needs. I think the way we support them is just to put in place those legal instruments or those protocols which will contain many advantages which will be good for them to improve the living life. So what I can say, Right Honorable Speaker, and everyone here knows that, is that this ratification has to be, this ratification of these legal instruments has to be given much importance, much attention, and be done on a good time. Because we are aware that the more the ratification is delaying, the more the implementation will delay also. And this will affect negatively, the attainment of the objectives. And this will also affect the people to whom these legal instruments will be applied, as I said before. So what I can, I don't have any new recommendation except the one which is already in this report. Then I urge the Council for Ministers, to make push when necessary, so that the responsible, maybe the EAC ministries may make a push also to the ministries which are responsible, on the consultation of those legal instruments, and they make a push also to the authorities, local authorities who are involved in this task of ratifying for these legal instruments. Anyway, I support this report. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sophie. Honorable Pierre, then Honorable Aden, and the Honorable Council Chair from Rwanda will follow.
Thank you,
Council
Right
member,
Honorable
not
Speaker.
Council Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, to give me the floor and allow me to contribute in that very important debate on the report brought by the chairperson of the Account Committee. First and foremost, I will declare that I'm a member of this committee since the beginning of our journey as Eala 4. So you can note that I've been seeing enough reports, and I'm here to confirm that, as one of my colleagues said, that most of the queries which is in the report of the auditors raise the same and continuous matters, such as lack of full remittance of annual partner state contributions,
lack of staff and issues of recruitment on short-term staff in the ESC, and also issue of project management, which at a time may have been solved by the institution of a unity management unity project. So I think as some of my colleagues raised those issues, I would like to emphasize the role of the Council of Ministers and invite them to change, to improve their way to conduct business and reporting to other organs on the way they are sought out, or they are giving more often the action to address most of issues, which is always the same every year. And I would not be complete without saying, raising two mechanisms, because most of the issues should be solved if some activities ongoing since more than 10 years could be completed. And here I would like to evoke the institutional review or the sustainable mechanism of financing, which could solve many issues, especially the one of remittances. I thank you, and I beg to submit, Mr. Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Pierre. Honorable Aden.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to speak to this debate on the report of the audited accounts of the community. And on the onset, let me also join my colleagues in saying that I am a member of the committee and acknowledge that the committee has done a lot of work in preparation of this. But before I come to my points, Mr. Speaker, allow me to also join my colleagues in congratulating the Republic of Burundi and His Excellency President Evariste Ndayishimiye, the lifting of the sanctions to Burundi. Honorable Speaker, indeed, I was, and I think I had notified you of my motion on the same issue, urging the partner states of the East African community to indeed stand firm with the Republic of Burundi for the removal of those sanctions. The removal of these sanctions, to me and my sister here next to me, Honorable Moma Mo, brings a lot of good memories today. We were in Brussels serving our respective national parliaments a few years back, when indeed these sanctions were being brought. And I know how much fight there was, the team that she led then as a deputy speaker for the Republic of Burundi, and jointly as a group of the ACP countries, we joined hands to stand very firm with the Republic of Burundi, fighting these particular sanctions. It was not necessary at all. It was very retrogressive and extremely harmful to the country. Today, now that they have been removed, I must say that I feel very delighted and congratulate His Excellency the President and the people of the Republic of Burundi. Speaker, on the same note, let me congratulate Waziri Ezekiel for, as a council, as our council chair now. I must say his efforts as a very devoted member of the council, it's been very encouraging. He has never failed to be in the house. And this is very commendable, Mr. Speaker, and I am happy and I'm sure that he will do a good job in this interim position as chair council. So, Speaker, on this report, I want to first of all note that I have been in this committee now for nearly 5 years now. And I must say that I feel very encouraged to see a lot of improvement in the manner in which resources are spent in the community now. We started from very far. We started from very, very emotional issues. We found, properties belonging to the community that was irregularly being used. We sanctioned people. We mentioned names here. We brought a lot of things to the floor of this house, Mr. Speaker, at different times. And I must say that as a member who has served as a member of the Public Accounts Committee back in my country in our national parliament, and now here. I must say that I feel very encouraged to see how the community is now moving to an organization that is utilizing its resources within the law and improving quite a lot. This is good improvement to see, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I must say that there are certain issues, as colleagues have mentioned, that have become extremely difficult for this community. For example, the issue of financing the community. The alternative source of funding, Mr. Speaker, that we have spoken about again and again and again, is not happening till now. It's putting the community and its institutions and organs in very difficult situations, such that they are not able sometimes to perform some of the very basic duties that they are required to do. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of issues that are pending for this community. Mr. Speaker, when you look at trade in this community and the non-tariff barriers that are in existence and the issues that require to be resolved as a community, that require constant engagement of the community's officials. Many of those reasons, when you follow them, you'll be told we don't have adequate funding for us to be able to perform some of these things. We can't implement this program. We can't do this. We can't do much follow-up on this or that, or we can't do as required by the treaty, the regular reviews on some of the issues on the programs that are running. All of it center around resources, and this report has captured it very well, Mr. Speaker, the need for our countries and partner states to indeed step up this issue and see it as an urgent issue that requires attention that will otherwise undermine the operation of the community. Mr. Speaker, there's an issue of unqualified expenditure, particularly, and I just want to emphasize on this point. I had a colleague yesterday present on this matter. There's an issue to Eala with regards to, funds that are not appropriately utilized. Mr. Speaker, sometimes it's not good to misinform the community. The truth of the matter, as we all know in this house today, is that just before the onset of the coronavirus, we as members of this house worked, and there were several sittings, but because the community had no resources to pay the members were told, finance yourself, stay on your own and go, and you'll be paid. So we went home and Corona locked everybody inside in their respective countries. Luckily, some resources became available here, Mr. Speaker, and thanks to your efforts. Then it was sanctioned that members be paid their outstanding dues to wherever they are in their home countries. And that's exactly what happened. How does somebody come around again and say now that was an irregular payment? So, Speaker, we are all here now. Nobody has come around. Our clerk has never come around to say this is that particular payment which you were paid that time when you were not around because of the circumstances of COVID. It was your outstanding fund, some of which still hasn't been paid to this day, I must say. And now please sign this voucher for that particular payment which you received. Nobody has come around to ask us. Then somebody goes and tells the auditors there was irregular money which was paid to members. So, Speaker, sometimes some of these issues is misinformation of the organs that are oversighting the community. I'm glad that the committee has proposed the complete removal of that particular query as a query that is not of substance at all, that has no basis. My worry is that, Mr. Speaker, this time next year, there will be another house here. There will be people sitting here. We'll be lucky to have a few of the members in this house back in this house, but there will be another house here seated that will be seeing this query that has no idea about what transpired. That's why some of these issues must be put to record now, so that in future, whoever comes along that particular audit trail will be able to know what exactly happened. Mr. Speaker, as I end, I want to say that yesterday, quite a number of colleagues spoke about the workload of this committee with regards to this particular report, and I agree. This is a huge report. This is a report ordinarily in our local parliaments, in our home country parliaments, that takes months to review and to look at. But when you are given 2 weeks, sometimes less than 2 weeks, 12 days, to go and do a report that will have otherwise required you to be done over a period of time for proper scrutiny, then it becomes very, very, very difficult. Those complaining about the workloads, I mean, the volume, the 200 pages, you should go and see how many pages there are of the audit reports in our parliaments. They are literally tons. I can say that tons. They can be carried on a pickup load. We only have one book of 200 pages. We should not complain. It's a very, very small, extremely small document. We have just come back from oversight, from engaging our local parliaments. We were in the team that went to Kenya together with Honorable Kimbisa here, Adam Kimbisa, myself, and I think Honorable Thomas Dut was with us as well. And you know the books of volumes which were there. You know, it's nothing compared to what we have here. Don't complain about that workload of that volume. It's a very, very small volume. And I think the committee has done justice, has done its best. Any attempt to make it any smaller than that will mean removing a lot of otherwise very necessary report out of there. But I agree with colleagues, if there can be improvement in terms of engaging technology, having, where the rest of the world is now moving away from paper and into technology, iPads and things like that, that can be able to help us. That will also be, in my view, most welcome. Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to this motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Aden. Honorable Muhiru, are you wanting, because I don't know really what you want. You want to speak? Yes, then you should always catch my eye, especially because you are sitting far from where. Proceed, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. Mine would be very short because it is a general observation in relation to this report. And I'm not a member of account committee, I'm not. And I have read deeply this report. I have seen that the content in relation to recommendations and worries is an issue which is recurrent. Recurrent since we started year 4, but also recurrent from year 3, where I was a member. We have been always recommending, but implementation has always become an issue. So maybe I want to propose the way forward. And if you really want to see and have the real image of the community, it's through this audit report that you will see the real reality which is happening in the community. So these reports in relation to audit is very important. And you have to keenly follow up the recommendations until they are implemented. So to cure these weaknesses and these issues, I propose that it's urgently that we have creation of permanent committee or permanent commission of members who are in charge of monitoring the implementation of various recommendations as formulated by the House. And I propose that such permanent committee should be formed by former members of Eala, because they are the ones who really have experience in that particular docket. Yeah. Because if you want to move our community, if we want to see our integration becomes effective, we have to implement 100% the recommendations as decided by the House. So I propose that if my proposal can be accepted, why not to table it to the next summit meeting so that we try and help this community to move forward. I raise my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Muhirwa. Honorable Professor Nshuti. Honorable Minister, may I allow you to speak while you are sitting, because otherwise we won't. The audio is not going through. So the IT people in the office where the honorable minister is sitting should help him. The IT person in Kigali.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, please proceed, honorable.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to speak to the August House. First of all, let me congratulate my brother Ezekiel for assumption of the chair of the council, and assure him that Rwanda and the country, and indeed myself, we support him fully to discharge responsibilities. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, let me also congratulate the Republic of Burundi for the removal of the sanctions, which have been painful to that country, and indeed to our brothers and sisters from the Republic of Burundi. Sanctions, they target wrong parties. They end up hurting the civilians more than anybody else. So congratulations to the Republic of Burundi, and indeed to everybody who gave his hand or her hand to make sure that they removed. Of course, Rwanda supports this type of move to make sure that our brothers and sisters live in peace and indeed enjoy the benefits of their development. Honorable Speaker, I want to make a few points that concern this audit report that has been tabled before us. First of all, some of us who come from finance background, the audit report tells us who we are or what we are or who we are not. When I was going through the report, it was really damning, tells us who we are not against who we are supposed to be. And what's even more intriguing is that this seems to be a habit, as if this institution belongs to nobody. Normally, audit reports tell us what has happened that shouldn't happen. And if you own it, which we should, because you contribute our money coming from taxpayers to this institution, I'm talking about ESC and organs, we need to act on this report. Of course, myself inclusive as a member of the council for the Republic of Rwanda. Let me inform honorable members that we had a retreat, Rwandan Chapter Council, and indeed our brothers from Eala, to look at the cost effectiveness and efficiency of ESC. I think all of us as members of this important institution want an efficient institution, not an efficient institution. It won't serve the purpose for which it was created. And so we came up with a recommendation that I, as a council member, I'm going to chair the council, and I believe that the recommendations are going to be acted upon. Because we believe, especially from one, that we cannot live like this. I don't know who wants to live like this. And although, of course, as I said, I'm part of the problem because I have to own a process as a member of the council. I have to give my views on what I think, regardless of what's happening in the report, which is really bad. Now, having said that, I want to go into details. There are very many. I just want to bring up some issues that some honorable members have brought to this August House. Number one, we are calling on the members of the council. Members of the council. Honorable Chair, members of the council are ex officio members. This is my second year in this office. And when we address them, they should be present, as one of the members and yourself, Honorable Speaker, mentioned. You cannot address people who are not present. They won't even hear our address. All of us have appeared before parliaments. Indeed, if we are going to be questioned in the report, those that are meant to be answerable must be present. Otherwise, it's like we are really, yes, we have issues, but whom are we addressing? Whom are we addressing? So I recommend that, Honorable Speaker, the council must be present. Must be present. If the minister is not present, we are normally supposed to be two. The one in of justice is also a member should be present to hear the issues that we are raising. Otherwise, we are going to raise issues which won't be acted upon because the parties to act on the same are not here to listen to the members of the parliament that are holding us accountable, and rightly so. And so I recommend that we take these issues very seriously. Meaning they have financial consequences, operational consequences, and really we can't go on like this. Number two, when I was the chair of the council some time back, I raised these same issues, including the SCG, who most times was not present. SCG is also a member of the council. Sorry, a member of this ex-officer of this house. And of course, he must attend also because he's meant to be implementing some of these recommendations. And so if you are to have these recommendations acted upon, the parties to act them upon must be present to hear these issues. Otherwise, absence is no solution. We shall keep on the way it has been done, and I don't think that's what we want as an institution. There's a similar issue that I think members mentioned yesterday about the era going digital. Personally, as a member of the council, I support it. I don't know how much it costs the ESC to buy iPads for the members of the parliament. It's really peanut. We should not be carrying papers at this stage, at this age in time. We should be having digital platforms and Peter says to help us do our work as best as we should. And so personally, I would support that members of our parliament era be bought these gadgets to be able to do their work as the best as they should. Honorable Speaker, when you look again, if I go back to the audit report, what's happening in an institution is of course a mirror of inefficiencies that also can be fixed if we mean to fix the money we should. For example, we think, at least from Rwanda, that we should have annual performance contracts. Sometimes when you want something, a recommendation to be effected, who is going to effect it? At what performance level will you measure this person? I think we need to go into the performance contracts to make sure that we achieve what we want to achieve. Otherwise, giving a performance that has no base against which you can measure it, doesn't serve the purpose. And I don't think that's where I want to take this institution. So I support that. We need to have a performance contract to our staff. The issue of staff contracts has been discussed over and over. It's almost password to our meeting. And this, of course, goes back to the council, to which I am a member, and we have put in place measures to recruit staff. We advanced, hopefully after recruitment, these short-term contracts which don't give tenure to the holders will cease, and we shall have people to serve our institution as best as they should. Honorable Speaker, we have been talking of areas, and of course, being financial independent or being able to meet obligations. Now, I think this issue of areas, we need to stop talking and start acting, because we cannot have an institution that's not financed. We cannot have some members finance others. It does not make sense. And I don't think we should go that way. Okay, focus again, this is a council issue. Some of us who are present now, and my brother who is the chair of the council, we need to put place measures to make sure that countries pay. It becomes a habit rather than promising day in, day out. At the end of the day, we have almost 40 million owing that's not paid, and we need to pay our bills. We did pass some resolution to try to amend our contributions, which is on the way, and we believe that the amendment to address the financials that face our institution. Honorable Speaker, the issue of procurement, as we know very well, some of us are government. And I don't think we need this to happen in our institution. We don't have taxpayers' money to go to be stolen by those with bad habits. So I want us to believe, or at least to recommend that, of course, to ourselves, because I'm a member, that we use automated procurement procedures. These are known. They are not. They're not science-based institutions, but things that you can put in place to try to make efficient the procurement procedures in our council. The Speaker, the utilization of available funds to implement set objectives is good, but the community even have to make sure that the funds available are used efficiently, which of course has not been the case, as I mentioned some time now. And so we should have legal instruments of holding people accountable, either for using finance badly or even for not using the same money. Either way, the consequences to the institution are dire. So I believe that we should have legal instruments of discipline to try to abate this indiscipline of either misusing funds or not even not using the funds for the purpose for which it was intended. Mr. Speaker, I also believe that as we go down to make the best of what we are discussing here in this August House take place, we need to give ourselves timelines. There is no decision that has no time. It won't happen. If you are saying this should be done, when should this be done? And of course, also, who should be done? Who should do the same? We did discuss in the council that we should also divide ourselves, the council, one minister or two for this area, another one for that, so that at least we can know who to hold accountable. When we say a council, 7 members, and thank God very soon we're going to be 7, and these people are given as an assignment, all of them, then nobody is held accountable. We should come to a point where we divide ourselves and say, look here, this action is assigned to so and so from the public of so and so. This will make these recommendations attainable. And of course, those same ministers will have to be answerable to the council. Indeed, they can be called to Eala to answer for those actions or activities that are supposed to be implemented, whether in the audit report or otherwise. For now, when we say the council, I'm afraid we mean all of us, but that assignment becomes a bit academic. So we should say, okay, 6 of us, 2 of us maybe in financial issues, 3 of us in maybe infrastructure, 2 of us in gender, whatever. Then issues pertaining to those sectors are answerable to a given section of ministers of the council. As it is, as I said, everybody is answerable. At the end of the day, nobody's answerable. But don't think that's how we do business in decision making. So I believe, of course, what I'm asking now is what we should be doing anyway. But I want to bring this to this August House, that we're on the same page, that we need to have to segregate our duties to know who should be answerable to what, when, with timelines. This should be done at this time. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I have heard many honorable members complaining, year in, year out, but complaining is not a solution. It's good to complain, but it's also important to make sure that what you complain about is acted upon. Meaning actually that once we are done with this session, we should have reflection. Can we ask the council, all of them, to be present when we extrapolate the recommendation that this August House has come out of this report, and say, can you come and hear us and assure us when can this be implemented, who is going to implement it, and of course, what are the consequences of not implementing the same? For us in Rwanda, if we do this, we shall definitely get out the best outcomes than what we are hearing. And I don't think we should carry on like this. Otherwise, I don't know what we should be if we keep on like this. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, because it was of the nature of communication.
Yes, you want to,
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I was really excited by one word which the Professor Nshuti Manasseh mentioned. Of the many very important points, the one which I know he mentioned is the word arrears. And I just wanted to inform him, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that also in the briefs and the notes given by Dr. Desai here to the new council chair contains with something to do with the outstanding arrears for the members of this house. Mr. Speaker, there was an issue that I must say that was at a very advanced stage in terms of engagement with the former council chair. And I believe a formal write-up of the same has also gone to the SG with regards to unaddressed payments that were not made to the members of this house, which they worked for, Mr. Speaker, and for which members raised the issues through the commission. And I wanted to just bring it to the attention of the new council chair. If you don't find one of those notes in your handover notes, something is missing, we need to engage our commission and SG again so that we make sure that that particular matter is alive, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
thank you, Honorable, and because you are not a member of the commission, I just wanted to confirm the chronology of events as you have put them. So you have the records right, and we shall continue to work with the council chair and everybody else to have it done. Now, please, I think we have to conclude this debate. Chair, because you will be responding to everything, you shouldn't come in the middle of the debate. Yes, I'm going to pick one final member and then council chair will respond. Please. You know, you keep forming an opinion to speak when you had been reluctant before. And Honorable Bahati, Honorable Mary Mugenyi, Honorable Council Chair. Honorable Bahati, Honorable Mary Mugenyi, Honorable Council Chair. We are done.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for giving me opportunity to contribute to this very important debate. On the onset, I congratulate the Republic of Rwanda for having reached to have removed the sanctions. That's very important when you have got a neighbor and has got a problem. That means you are not safe and you are affected some way or another. So we are also happy for having this. And again, I congratulate this committee for this very important work they have done. And what I may say, we started as our member, one of the colleagues has said, we started from very far, whereby we started with the naming and shaming of the people who are embezzling and misappropriating the citizen funds, our citizens of which we do represent. Honorable members, that report came and we rejected it. They went and they made naming and shaming. The next report that came, the names had reduced. Otherwise, you could find people responsible, could come and talking to accounts committee, trying to explain what they did at what they didn't do, such that their names should not appear. For the naming and shaming, the cause of naming and shaming was just that it was the only tool the assembly could use to see that this thing should not happen again. Because there was nothing like if somebody misappropriate funds would be taken care of legally. So that was the only tool we had. So I don't know, honorable members, this report I can see there are no names. And I don't know whether the misappropriation of funds is no longer there, but it's still there, it's there. And they are there, but they are very few. And there's only one name.
That's not bad news.
That's an issue.
we-
But from
Honorable
my
Bahati,
terms,
yes, hold on. I think Honorable Aden made a very important point. It's very important to speak passionately about financial management and good governance in our community, because that is what we are here for. But also important to acknowledge the positive improvements. Because we cannot be complacent. Yeah, we have to complain, but to acknowledge that the situation is not as bad as we found it.
yeah, that's very
So
good.
if we have fewer names, maybe because the situation has improved.
Of course, it has
Yes,
improved.
yeah.
It has improved,
And we
Mr.
wish to
Speaker.
have a situation where we have no name at all in the report.
That's what we want. If you see there are no names, that means the situation has improved. And I do congratulate the people who have done their best to put almost everything the good line. So, Mr. Speaker, that's what I wanted to appreciate, that this appropriation has been has reduced. And the people are now acknowledging how important it is to manage properly the public funds. Mr. Speaker, another thing I want to come about is the change of documents. It's something that I've seen. Honorable Karinda yesterday was talking out to the recommendation that was changed, whereby saying that the temporary workers, recommending that the council should work on it and they stop it. But it was changed. It's something very bad, and it's only not this. I'm talking about this because even the reports we are making, Mr. Speaker, you find that they have changed the report and they bring it in the committee, you find something have changed. And when we change this, a committee report or any of this, what they have done, you can imagine how the resources has been used to make sure that they get the correct report. For example, just if you go to like a country, you can imagine the resources taken by the committee to go and do the oversight. Reaching here, you find that the report has been changed. So it is something, Mr. Speaker, I would request you to look into it and the office of the clerk and see how these things should be. And if anything, whoever does this should be answerable in one way or another. Another thing, Mr. Speaker, as for the...
Yes, let's see, because that is a very serious issue. Well, I heard the Honorable Claude correct some of the captions in the report, and I wanted to assume that these are innocent mistakes. But if it is a deliberate mistake to change the substantive idea in the report, then that would be a serious problem. Let us just assume that whatever was corrected in the report was an innocent mistake and not a deliberate mistake. And then going forward, we will be more careful with those who compile reports for us. Isn't it the best way to proceed? Yes. Those who do the reports, it is actually a serious mistake to try to change the content of what the committee intended to communicate. But it can as well humanly happen that there is a mistake that is innocent, which can be corrected. But if people decided to spend more time about it, at least from my investigative background, I wouldn't fail to know whether the mistake was deliberate or it was innocent. So we hope we don't really get to that point. So the mistakes in the report were corrected, and this House takes it that they were mere innocent mistakes, which have been corrected. Is it the best way to proceed? Yes. Now, Honorable Bahati, proceed. You want to give information? Yes. Are you taking?
Yes, I will take it.
Yes. Let's not open a new debate altogether. I think I guided deliberately such that we don't get deviated. Yes.
Actually, Right Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to inform the House that at some point, because as I said yesterday, we concluded this report in June. So we had back and forth meetings. We saw that issue before, and we had an argument in the committee whether this is how it should be or that it should not have been like that. Now, this time, before presenting the report, we were actually supposed to sit as a committee and approve, because actually those signatures, we put them back in June. We're supposed to have gone through. But the problem, there's no time. We have very few days here, and everything has to be done, and the program is too busy. Council has so many bills. So, and as a committee, we only had the 14 days then, and then the previous plenary, where we were given like 2 days. So there is no way we could have done all this and clean up our report. That's why there were typos and everything. We shouldn't blame this on actually the clerks. We should blame it on council, because if you had sufficient time, we would have done the way we've been doing as an assembly. The first week, we do the committee work and clean up our reports and everything. So it's incumbent upon council to accord us sufficient time to do the job we are supposed to do. Otherwise, it becomes impossible. Thank you.
Okay, back to what I guided. The reports should reflect what members discussed. It is a straightforward thing, right? Reports should communicate properly what was the intention of the committee. Honorable Bahati, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Susan, for the information. On the same issue, I want to talk about the document they were talking of IT security issue, whereby they are worried of the passwords, whatever the software they are using. Mr. Speaker, on this issue, you can even find even this report was the certain computer and somebody entered and changed everything. You can go and change. I can even go and delete all the documents or the hazards or the what we did. So without having IT security, it is something very, 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 very terrible, Mr. Speaker. We have to work on this. And this IT security issue they have, it is the staffing. You can't have one IT staff who knows each and everything. I think we need a centralized IT server, such which can handle all the community computers, and they have centralized the security, whereby there are enough security with the people who know what they are doing. I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because I was once an IT expert, and they can contact me for a hand if anything.
Once an IT expert, you remain an IT expert.
Maybe. Yes.
It doesn't cease.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I think we have to work on this, and we see next time the council should think of it. Look for the centralized IT station, put enough servers, put enough softwares, because each software that is installed on the computer has got its own vulnerabilities. And when it has got a vulnerability, of course, an exploit is already there. And for your information, the real security issue that is in the real world, it is this, you find it in the IT world. So, Mr. Speaker, what we do in order to keep safe our documents, data, our funds, I think the council should help and work on this. Next time they bring a budget, I think they would have got a solution, Mr. Speaker. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, I want to talk of recent, we've been, as we're moving on our oversight, we are talking of how we think, we are talking with, we are engaged with the national assemblies. The national assemblies, as per the article 65, Mr. Speaker, you'll find that, I can read it verbatim. The clerk of the assembly shall, as soon as possible, transmit to the clerk of the National Assemblies copies of records of all relevant debates of the meeting of the assembly to be read before the National Assemblies by the respective ministers responsible for East African Community Affairs. Mr. Speaker, I found that some of the National Assembly, they said they've never seen any minister responsible for East African affairs in the assembly reading any paper. I think that's why we should request the council to see how they can engage with the national assemblies such
I
that.
just want to put on record that the Honorable Rebecca Kadaga requested for these records so that she could read them in Parliament, but she's the only one. Whether she has already done that or not, but she has been looking for these records so that she can read them in Uganda Parliament. So this is something that council needs to know. At times we are blamed by our home parliaments because they don't get this feedback from the council members. And it is their statutory obligation. We have our own way to liaise with the national parliaments, but they should also do their part. Yes. Yeah. So I think that's very important.
So, Mr. Speaker, I just request that they should see how they can work on it, because even our bills just go, you find ask you where is which bill, where is it? You start looking for it as if so like, and yet these are the bills that whatever the hazards and what is supposed to be no national parliaments. We should be copying notes, knowing that whatever we do here, they will do it because they send us here, giving us what we should do and reporting back. So if you don't get any feedback from us, that means we are doing nothing. That's why you find that we don't, other people saying that they don't even know what Eala is doing. So, Mr. Speaker, those few remarks, I will submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Republic of Burundi on the clearing of the sanctions against the Republic. Congratulations. And this makes us strong as East Africans indeed. Mr. Speaker, thank you for allowing me to speak at the end. And I have 2 points, so I won't take a lot of time. One is 4.4.4 about the clerk of Eala of the East African Legislative Assembly. The report states that the clerk of Eala is the only executive level, is the only officer. Actually, I think they are referred to as the sub-counting officer, which makes him an executive officer, which should be at the level of D1, and he's still at P5. To me, that is really demeaning, not only the individual officer holding the position, but also the institution, the East African Legislative Assembly. And really that is uncalled for. I therefore request the Council of Ministers who are empowered by Article 48 of the EAC Treaty, which states that the council shall appoint the clerk of the assembly and other officers of the assembly whose salaries and other terms and conditions of service shall be determined by the council. So this is just a call on the council to empower our executive officer to be at the level of other executive officers of the other organs and institutions. Mr. Speaker, my second point is on page 112. If you look at table 7, planned bills not passed in the year ended 30th June 2019. I want to say that some of these bills are still not passed to date. For example, I want to pick on one that I find relevant to my type of people, the women, the East African Community Sexual and Reproductive Health Bill 2016. This bill has been on the agenda of the East African Legislative Assembly until now, from 2016. Let me call on all those who support the rights of women and girls
to look seriously at this bill. This bill is not as sensitive as it sounds. I know we have had comments like this is a sensitive bill, more especially according to our traditions and cultures, according to our religions. But may I say that many bills, many laws that have been acted that protect the rights, the health of women actually have been through struggles. They are sensitive, almost without any exception, because it is on the bodies and the well-being of women that many cultures, that many religions have survived by subordinating women. Seriously, if we scrutinize this bill, you realize that actually we could debate it and get something that will protect, a law that will protect the women and girls in the community. Mind you, this law has been enacted in member states. So why can't it be done at the regional level? Therefore, want to call on particularly the Council of Ministers and you, Mr. Speaker, that we seriously take a look at this bill and we pass it in the interest of protecting women and girls that need it. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. So before the council chair comes in, there is the situation about the clerk and that position. Immediately after the report by the team that I don't remember the correct name, the team that was supposed to advise the community on institutional review, we raised a protest specific around that point, and I was able to talk to the council then. And we agreed that we should put our protest in writing, and we did. So the council chair needs to know that there is that written position on why that position needs to be put at the same level with the equivalents in other organs of the community. So you have where to start. And I think this is several years back, maybe more than 1 year back since we did that. So Honorable Council Chair.
Right, Honorable Speaker, dear colleague, Minister Professor Shuti from Rwanda, Honorable MPs, allow me at this time to extend my greetings to you all, honorable members of parliament. And I want also to take this opportunity to wish you Happy New Year. I am honored to be here today as a council member. And in my capacity of an acting chair, as it has been pronounced, I take this opportunity to request everybody, honorable members, my colleague minister, to keep praying for the chair council, who took a very strong decision to compete for a post that will allow him to serve effectively his nation. We wish him success in all his endeavors. Right Honorable Speaker, I think today for Burundi, everybody knows that we are celebrating a victory. Dear honorable members, our third meeting, fifth session and the fourth assembly happens when our community is celebrating good news. The good news is that the sanctions that were illegally imposed on Burundi by the European Union and the United States have been lifted. I know most of you have mentioned this, but let me just take this opportunity to tell you that not only Burundi, but also the community has gained from lifting these sanctions, but also the European Union and America are going to benefit from this. I know all EAC countries have contributed so that we may reach at this point. I wish to thank the President, His Excellency, the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Surely, we know what he did when he was the chair of the summit. He stood firm until he went in the European Union to ask them to lift these sanctions. We thank him so much. We thank the Republic, the United Republic of Tanzania, the late President Magufuli. He took a very strong position on this. The current president, His Excellency Samia Suluhu, even yesterday, she repeated this, that Burundi should be treated like other countries of East African community. We thank Tanzania very much. Thanks for the president of Kenya. Last year, myself, I went with him in the European Union. And the objective was to ask the European Union to lift these sanctions. We thank every country of the community. Rwanda. We thank South Sudan, Republic. We thank everybody who has contributed so that these sanctions may be lifted. So today, Burundi, we are free. I saw, before I comment, I make a comment on this report. It would be better really to thank everybody for what you have done. And I would like to add that yes, today the sanctions are lifted, but we need to continue to be vigilant, because what happened in 2015, we do not know that these plans are stopped. So to tell you that in Burundi, we are always vigilant, and we have to work hard so that the peace we have got today may not really get tempered by ill motives. Honorable Speaker, I wish to comment on this report, especially the recommendations that have been given by our honorable members of parliament. There are so many issues that have been raised. Right, Honorable Speaker, I am happy because the recommendations that have been given by the members of parliament, I am sure we share. We have the same spirit, and to mean that for council members, we will not have many problems dealing with these issues. I would like to mention some of the recommendations you have made. You have proposed the production of a concise report, but of course a report which has every required information. You have asked the council to look into the way the house can have the gadgets, the iPads, and so on. So we have to go digital. I think everybody will support this. Therefore, you have also requested to have a progress report on the state of implementation of the recommendations of MPs, but also remember that in this report, they have highlighted that even the recommendations of the council are not implemented, So this means that we are going to join our hands together. We are going to join our hands together so that really the recommendations that are made may be implemented. Of course, sometimes the secretariat faces the problems whereby, you know, with the budget, sometimes it is not catered for. But what we believe is that when there is a recommendation that has been given out and the secretariat finds that they are not ready to implement it because of the lack of funds, I think we will have to sit together and look into how we can deal with this issue if we find that really money is not available. We will have to push the item in the next year, and we will make sure that this issue has been budgeted for. This is then what we are going to do, and we will be together. So this is our assignment, because you know you are the ones who vote the budget. Yes. About this issue of plate number, it has been well noted, but Right Honorable Speaker, the members of parliament have put it very well. In fact, what we ask, we need to put ourselves into the shoes of others. Honorable members of parliament, in fact, everywhere I have been an ambassador in Kenya, and I have had other ambassadors, even members of parliament. In fact, when you wind up your term, in fact, you need to retire the number plate you have. You need to do that. When I was in Kenya, and for everybody, you need to do that. So I think this one, we will have to look into it very, diligently, but also know that when it happens that we do not get the answer as we need it, it's good to understand. It's good to understand. About the staff rules that are used on MPs, this is an issue. I don't know, the CTC here will help us because you said sometimes they use them on us when they favor the secretariat, and when it doesn't favor them, they don't use them. So here, I don't know, maybe the CTC will help us to understand this. The issue of sustainable funding. The issue of sustainable funding, I believe, even the council has been dealing with this issue. And as you know, honorable members of parliament, our ministers in charge of finance, they have sat together so many times, and they have even required for a retreat. So having this retreat, I think the aim is really to look into this issue of sustainable funding. I believe we are dealing with this, and very soon we will get the answer. The issue of procurement policy, yes, we need it. No. You say that it is not implemented by ESC institutions. I will report this to the council, and you have asked to reconsider this decision of reducing days of sitting. I think this decision has been taken, I think 3 months ago. 3 months ago. I don't remember very well. I do not answer, on behalf of honorable members of the council, but I find it is very soon to ask that. But thank you for expressing the view, and I will have to bring the issue in the council meeting. And you will get the feedback. VAT issues, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense because I remember in the different meetings we had, this issue has been raised, but also we had advised the secretariat to write a letter, so that we ask respective countries to deal with this issue, but I hear no answer up to now. So let us continue to look into that. And then if the decision to budget for it will be approved by the council, we will come back to you. ICT data, which is not backed up, it makes sense, especially whereby you said that the cost is only 300,000 US dollars. And we are not backing up our data. So I think the council will have to sit and deal with this. We have different softwares, and yet it costs a lot of money. Using them, it makes sense. We will come back to you. The need for a policy regarding benefits and the privileges for MPs. Yes, we will deal with this. You have said about the budget management system, which is accessed using any internet connection. And you highlighted, you mentioned that it puts our community to risk. That's true. You asked that we may recruit the judges of East African Court of Justice permanently. And so on and so on. So, honorable members of parliament, I believe that as I have highlighted, I am not here to give all the answers, because the council, we need to sit together, and then when we will have dealt with these issues, I promise that we will come back to you. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Council Chair. Now, Honorable Committee Chair, Honorable Karonzo. Honorable, if you can switch off the microphone. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker, there is a request on whether there are some issues the CTC can clarify, but
No, I skipped that deliberately because the minister said they are going to consult internally, and the CTC will be part of that internal consultation with the council.
I stand guided. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I must confess before the council chair from Rwanda made his remarks, I was fighting the temptation to seek leave of this house to take the council to the EACJ for breach of some issues, but I think the council chair has assisted. Sorry, the council member from Rwanda has somehow given me an extra push to be a bit more patient. Let me start off by saying that I wish to congratulate Burundi for having the sanctions lifted. You know, I also want to thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, in a special way. This House will remember that in the last plenary, even when you were away on official duties, we were still able to continue and debate this report. So I thank you for that. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to thank the council member from Rwanda for his continued support to this committee, even when we've had challenges. The committee does not take that for granted. I want to thank also Honorable Susan and Honorable Bide, who helped me read the very voluminous report. I want to also thank the members who have contributed, and especially also the committee members. I'll start with Honorable Munya, whose submissions I stand behind. I think if we want to be environmentally friendly, we must consider using IT. I want to thank Honorable Rosa Cole. I want to thank Honorable George. I also want to thank Honorable Fatuma, Ambassador. I want to thank Honorable Francoise. I want to thank Honorable Wanjiku, Honorable Garang, Honorable Rigwema, Honorable Kakoza. I also want to thank Honorable Oda, Honorable Jean-Claude, Honorable Gideon, Honorable Dr. Buru, Honorable Fancy, Honorable Kalinda, Honorable Pamela, Honorable Leontine, Honorable Dr. Wada, Honorable Sophia, Honorable Abega, Honorable Chris, Honorable Susan, and of course our very able council members who've made time to be with us. Honorable Muhirwa, Honorable Bahati, Honorable Aden, Honorable Francine, Honorable Mary Mugeni. I think I have captured everyone, and Honorable Ambassador Ezekiel and Honorable Council Member from Rwanda. I want to request that I was very excited when I heard the council say they will assign themselves roles. I was almost volunteering to do that paperwork for them. So, so I look forward to the report back from the council. I'll only request that they give us some time frame within which they will do so. So I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Kalonzo. Honorable members, I now put the question that the report of the Committee on Accounts on the EAC audited financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2019 be adopted. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So I also want to join you to thank the committee members under the able leadership of Honorable Kalonzo for a very, very important work they did, and the support staff that supported them. When you see us complaining about the voluminous nature of the document, then think of the clerk that drafted it. Yes, if it can be so big for us, even to read, then you think of someone who spent how many nights these gentlemen and the ladies spend. It is actually a lot. It is a lot. One day I went to this Gymkhana golf course and I saw Mr. Victor is one of the leaders there. And I was wondering how he even gets time to spend to play golf, because this gentleman and the others work day and night. So we really thank the staff for the commitment they have. Now, Honorable Chair, members of the council, we thank you for the commitments you have made. But there is just one formula that you need to consider to resolve all these issues. Honorable ministers, be involved. Take leadership, spend time, own your decisions. Because you see, most of the complaints you have heard are things you don't even recall you made the decisions about. I'm not sure there is a minister who can say, I genuinely supported the decision not to procure one IT system that can perform the functions of the 6 systems. Most of them would tell you, why did we even make that decision? Because you don't take time to own these decisions you make. You have relegated your duties to the officials. We have a lot of respect for them. But they were not mandated by the treaty to perform the duties of ministers. Yes. So I'm sure if you can change that, so that you don't just meet here for one day, pick the reports and adopt them. If you have time to go through, and in your working methods, you can even consult some of us. You know, this thing originated from you, Speaker. How did you come about with this proposal? Or any head of the organ or the institution. Listen to them. Why they initiated certain proposals. Then be able to challenge your officials on some of the recommendations they make for you. If we adopt that method, we shall resolve most of these problems. The challenge we have, with all due respect, honorable ministers, you don't take enough time to understand the proposals that come to you. So if we can change that, it is going to be a lot of progress. Because otherwise, can really the council tell us, for example, why it is not a good idea to have one white system instead of 6 that are not even coordinated? Or why we cannot appropriate $200,000 to maintain our vessel that even if we don't need it for research, can generate more revenue for the community? There is not a single minister can support it consciously. But because these are decisions that come to them when they have no time to check them, and they just make. Am I wrong, honorable members? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Am I wrong? So that is one holistic approach you need to take, even before you go into the details of these recommendations. It is going to help a lot. Otherwise, there is a meeting of mind, as the Honorable Council Chair put it rightly. There is a meeting of mind between the members, between the council. We all agree almost on everything. So where do we get lost? It's because at some point in time, we withdraw and leave the duties. If committee chairpersons relegated their duties to the clerk, we would have problems. If I relegated my duties to the clerk, we would have problems. I would be surprised by decisions here that I have no recollection of when I made them. So this is what is happening to our honorable ministers. Yes. First of all, if you are here given a docket, you are the minister responsible for EAC affairs. So if this docket is less important for you, what do you remain with when it is withdrawn from you? If this docket was withdrawn from your attributions, then you are minister for what? Eh? Yes. Yes. Why should a member appointed by his country to be here with us find something more important for him or her to be away and not here with us? Yeah, you challenging the appointing authority, or is it the same appointing authority that gives you a different briefing after the appointment? Yes, so ministers should be here with us because this is what you were given. This is what keeps you in the cabinet. Yes, this is what keeps you in the cabinet. You are the minister because you have EAC in your document. So we cannot be here talking to ourselves. And you know why we have to be passionate about this? We also get blamed for most of what is happening here. Yes, so you know, the report is dirty and you know, these people are not doing their job. Now everyone must go into their position. The lines must be properly drawn. Yes, and everyone must take their responsibility. Yes. But if we change a bit the way we are working, and I can see a new momentum within the council. So let us take that moment. If you can talk passionately within the council, the way you do it when you are meeting us, then the council will change the way they operate. Yes. Thank you, Honorable Council Chair. You want to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the advice. We have well noted the advice. And on behalf of my fellow council members, I would like to reiterate that the members of the council are fully engaged to serve the community. Meanwhile, understand that we are all human beings, and being on earth, problems may happen. Right Honorable Speaker, you know that some of us, some of the council members, they have got problems in their families, social problems, and the others have responded to other official duties, to mean that today we should be here, all of us. But because of those duties and the social problems that are well known, they were not able to come here. So I would like to emphasize on this, but also promise that really the council members, they have the spirit, they have the willing, and this is our job we have to do every time. Thank you, I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Clarification, Mr.
I
Speaker.
agree with you if we change, yeah. We agree, by the way.
Clarification,
No,
Mr.
please,
Speaker.
Honorable Samari. We are not questioning the commitment of the ministers. We are only advocating for the change of the ways we do business. Let us change the way we have been doing business. Let us do it differently for the betterment of our community. The commitment is there, but let us activate it into the actionable way of more better delivery than we have done before. Thank you so much, honorable members. Let us proceed.
Item number 5 on the order paper, report of the Joint Committee on Communication, Trade, Investment, and Agriculture, Tourism, and Natural Resources on an oversight activity to assess the threat to donkeys due to relentless demand for their skin and its impact on the donkey dependent communities in the East African community by way of motion.
Honorable Committee Chair, CTI.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Before I proceed, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to seek your guidance. Based on the rule 89 of the rules of procedures, report by members representing the assembly, sub-rule 1, within 21 sitting days of return by the official recognized parliamentary delegation or a delegation with some members and the staff of the assembly, the head of delegation or any member acting on his or her behalf shall present a report to the House on the activities of the delegation. Sub-rule 2, after tabling a report under sub-rule 1, a limited debate may ensure. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to seek your guidance on this report because there is a few information came after we have been tabled this report. Before the petitioners, they brought this petition to us. There were two partner states which were going to conduct information about this donkey issue. One was the Republic of Kenya, other one was the Republic United of Tanzania. Now, after conducting this assignment in these two partner states, we did not have full information because we visited two, let's say, community, one in Naivasha in Kenya, other one in Dodoma. Then the information we got from the government was more than what we expected. Now we came, we tabled this report
Then we realized that the report is unfinished. We conducted the petitioners. Even this morning, we had a meeting with them. We agreed that we should conduct we should collect the full information regarding these donkey issues, because we found out that there are also donkeys in the Republic of Uganda. And by the way, Republic of South Sudan has more donkeys more than United Republic of Tanzania. Then
Honorable Christ, the point you are making is that the report is not ready.
Yes, the report is not ready
Okay.
because we have to go for further information.
Yeah,
So
well-
I seek your guidance if we can proceed or.
Sorry. No, but there is a report, but he's saying after the report,
There's
there
another
is
information.
an additional, if you can see, there is additional information from other partner states that were not contacted before, or had not given their information before. So is your request for extension of time?
Yes.
Do you think, honorable members, we should give a committee more time so that they come with a report that is considerate of all 6 partner states? Okay, so the issue of how much time and the mechanism of how that would happen is administrative. But in the principle, you will be granted more time to conduct that activity.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
So did we have more business on the order paper? Okay, so honorable members, I adjourn the House until tomorrow at 2:30.
Speaker said we should stay back for a few minutes.